Get ready to revolutionize the way you analyze business or commercial analytics with this interactive dashboard. Watch on to discover more. So, today we will have a look at how to actually build an automated dashboard using Microsoft Excel. So, as our example for today, we going to have a look at some commercials. So in terms of commercials, that means data that is is towards the side of like a business. So an example for today, we're gonna be looking at a sneaker called the Nike Zoom Fly 5. So it's the latest sneaker brand or a sneaker item from the company Nike. And as we know, the company is a global company, one of the most leading brands in the world, and it's going to be quite interesting just to see from scratch how we're going to actually go on about developing a dashboard, which is then going to be automated after a while, and also building in the design at the end. So it's quite important to know in terms of when you're building a dashboard, you have to first visualize what you want to do in terms of the output. So on the side, you can create your own design and then try and visualize how you actually want to visualize the data, and then also take into consideration who your target audience is and what type of presentation do you want to have the layout and look at the end of the day. So basically, yeah, let's just jump in. So the first thing, when we have our data, so here is our data, which goes from column A to I. And if you can just hover on top here, you can see the count in terms of the number of rows. It's 100 rows. And the first row will then be our fields or our dimensions. So you will see these are the different elements that we can actually use to visualize the data. So it's important to understand the basics that the heading will always form a major part of visualizations in our dashboard, and then all the items or numbers, or whether it's category data or numeric data that's under each field, will then represent either the value or whatever description that needs to be visualized in your visualizations at the end of the day. So the first step in any data work, you first have to look at your data and see if your data structured the way that you want, and also to look at cleaning your data, making sure that all the data points here make sense and that everything is going to function how it is. Because when we automate, we want Excel just to use a clean data set, because as we go, you're going to see that it's going to get easier, but you must then do more work up front to make sure that your data is correct. And then as you go on, you then can take advantage of the automated tools that Microsoft has. Just to have a look here. Okay, we will start with cleaning our data, and also maybe looking at if is our data actually structured the way that we want to structure. So for me, looking at this data, I would say we could kind of structure the data a bit differently. As you can see here, we have sales, we have item price here, we have cost, units, orders, country, year, month, and profit. So most of the time, I like to make sure that all the categories are on the left, so that it's easy to kind of view when you can see the words. So categorical data will be like words or descriptions. So I'll click here and right click, cut this, and then insert it here. So your data is still maintained, but now I can see country, and then I can see sales, item price, orders. Maybe I can also move month, so that now when we say cut and insert, we can see, okay, country, the US, which month, the sales, item price, cost, unit, the year, and profit. So we might also want to move the year, and then just to logically think about it, the year comes before a month. So in terms of a hierarchy, you want to see the year and then go into month. Or you can actually even do it the other way around and have your year first and say month, which year, this is the month that the item was sold, which country was it, what was the total sales. So when I first have a look at the total sales, but then if you know that total sales can be calculated using other elements, you can then say, okay, what is it used? Item price definitely, so you'd want to put item price in front of the sales. And then what else contributes towards sales? The units definitely, so we would cut that, we put it here. So if you times those, you would get, so you can even try and test, but you'll see here something particular which also leads into um, cleaning your data more. If you say this times that, it will give you this number, which you can also say yes. So those are the units, as you can see. So this actually works. So now you can see sales, item price times units equals sales. And then what else we want to have a look at? Orders. We also maybe want to have a look at orders and say, let's bring the orders up front as well. So the orders will be on their own. And then the profit and the cost. So that's fine because sales minus cost will equal the profit. So now we've got our good structure. Then as you can see here, there's this green rectangles on top. So now these means that these are actually not numbers. It's you can't really run this in a data. So you can either in a data table, whatever you're going to create, you can either click on this and say convert to number. But if you have a lot of them, you would maybe, let's go back once, you would want to come to this column that you can just do your own formulas and say equal number value, double click on that, close your bracket. As you can see here, it will give us, let's change it to number. Then if you drag it to the end or you just double click, it will then run all the numbers from this side. So if you can double check all of these, so this also fixed those ones that you had a problem with. So you just want to copy and go to units, right click, paste as values, then you just paste those as values. So now it seems like all your numbers are intact. So there would sometimes be different ones. Let's say if we can change this, maybe it came as a number and it wasn't part of, it wasn't a currency. You could also just highlight those and come here and say currency. And you can also decrease your decimal places. So now your data looks like it's good to go. And then now it's time to remember the design. So what we first want to do before we build our dashboard, this data currently is just raw data, and after this we have to now transform this data into data that is easily understood at a higher level. So we would kind of like summarize this data. That's where statistics comes in play, where statistics is used to summarize the data so that it is easy to actually visualize at the end of the day. So giving summaries in different ways to actually visualize this data, because currently we can just see 100 rows and we don't know what to do. If we have to report quickly in a meeting, if the CEO asked us what was the total sales in Italy, because Italy appears in many different rows, we won't be able to quickly say what the total sales from Italy were. So this might be coming from different records because there's different maybe different transactions, hence Italy would appear in many rows or any other country across the world. So what you want to have a look, what you want to do next is that if you're happy with your data, you want to actually convert this raw data into actual tables. So tables are very powerful tools which would then allow us to then summarize our data, apply pivots as well. So we're going to be using pivots to actually so tables will help in automating and quickly updating the data. Then it will also enable us to use it as a pivot. So what you want to do, you want to either highlight here or you can just press on the top cell, and then you can press Control A so that your whole data is actually highlighted, and say you want to say insert and press table. So you will actually here highlight the table. It will say my table has headers. Say OK, and then here you have a table. So this is an Excel table where we can actually now do design, still the same data, but what's actually amazing with this table, let's say you already built your dashboard and now you have new data that you want to add. Instead of starting all over, let's make an example. If you had this as raw data, now you want to include it in the table, all you have to do is just right click, press, and then become one with your table. And we can just go back. So now it's not part of the table. So the table allow you to, it's the first step to allow automation to happen at the end of the day. So now we've got a table. What we actually want to do next is create another sheet where we will call it Visualization Pivots. So we're going to go back to this table, and now we want to think, what do we need to have on our dashboard? So at the same time, we can create another sheet and say dashboard. So we will worry about the design at the end of the day, but then for now, we just want to focus on, so we will bring dashboards up front. We want to first focus on making sure that we building the back end, if you might say. So we will first go to the table, and then if you click on the table, you'll see this popping up called table designs, or you'd have to right click, but it will come as table designs. We will press on table designs and say summarize with pivot table. So now it is highlighted and says new sheet or existing sheet. We will say existing sheet, then we will go to our visualization pivot sheet, then we will just press anywhere. Let's press on that cell and say insert. So now we have our pivot. So as you can see here, all our fields, remember on our table, if you go back to your table, all of these headings, now as you can see over here, they kind of like square blocks. So these are fields, so this is where the data is summarized. Now we can start with summarizing our data. So by first deciding how we actually want to visualize, what we want to see on our dashboard. So this goes back to how you had designed your dashboard. Let's say if you want to, maybe you want to see sales or whatever you want to see in your dashboard in the front. So, and maybe you want to see other key, other performance areas, maybe profit or whatever else that you want to do. So I think for this one, let's have a look at maybe sales, and then what we want to do, we will drag this into the values, the sales, remember it's a value, we want to drag it into values. So here we've got our sales. What we can do also, we can adjust our, as we can see now, it's not currently showing as a currency, so we would have to go to value field settings and go in, and then just follow what I'll be doing. So it's sum of sales. So these are different statistical measures you want to use. Maybe we want to have a look at average. So it will depend, but we want to have a look at total sales. So these are other statistical techniques that you can actually use, or statistical summaries. So if you want to look at the maximum number of sales, maybe in a certain which country it comes from, but now we want to look at total sum, and what do we want to show as total. So we won't change anything, then we want to change the number format. Then I'll go and change the number formatting. We want to have it as currency. Do we want to see decimal places? We want to see 0 decimal places. Okay. Let's say we want to have a look at a different symbol. Their dollar. Directly go. USD. If you want to have a look at USD, or if you actually want to see the actual sign. Usually English, United States. Cool. And then what we can also do, we can actually change the heading also to show as some as sale. Okay, maybe not there. Change it as heading and sales. And what else do we want to see besides sales? We want to see sales maybe or, from different countries. Yeah, because it's a global event, so we want to have a look at sales. And so we would actually take this into rows. So from here you can see these are all the countries and these are the actual sales at all the other countries. So let's bring this up to this. Okay. As you can see, grand total, those are total number of sales, which is 609 million US dollars, and these are the different countries and the total sales. So from having this raw data, now you can see we have a summarized version of all the sales across different countries. Okay, this is what we want to see, and this is the grand total. So what else maybe do we want to have a look at? Do we want to have a look at maybe sales, maybe for each month, maybe at a total level? Yeah, let's say we also wanted to have a look at that. So one thing you can also do, you can actually, especially for pivots or your dashboard, you can actually copy and paste different pivots to have different to have different visualizations if you want to. So what here we can do, we can replace the country with the month. So here, as you can see, total sales, so the same. Then here now we have them by month, and we would also maybe, let's have a look, what else do we have? We have country orders, the year, it's actually the same year, so we can't really look at different years. Also item price, same item price. And maybe what else we want to look at is units, sales in units and profit, but we can include them in this country one. What we can do, we can bring in units, and we can also bring in the profit. And profit is actually going to come as a number, but what else we can do, we can change the profit into a percentage so that you can see the percentage of the profit from the sales. So here we just make it neat and say units and then profit. Okay, if we go to the units, let's change the number format to number, and then we don't want to have decimal places. Okay, and then profit, we're going to do something different. We want to say we want to have a look at, so we'll go show as, we say percentage of grand total. So we want to look at what each country's profit percentage, what percentage do they contribute towards the total sales of, profit sales from this item that we see in a dashboard. So from here you can either if you want to look at which country has maybe the highest sales or the highest profit, either you can sort this. If you right click, it sorts by the largest. Here you'll sort and see USA has the largest sales, but then does it also have the largest profit? It seems. And Canada, or you would either say I want to sort this by profit, smallest profit to largest. So New Zealand would have the smallest profit. For now, let's say it's largest sales, as you can see over here. Then for the month to month, maybe let's also so here we'll see the country, and here we'll see the sales per month. Maybe let's also look at the unit profit as well. Let's say units and profit. say. Here just to make it, let's say, profit percent. And let's also number value. Okay, so now I think we have our building blocks that we would need to start our dashboard. So we can go over to our dashboard section. So now we must think about our design. What do we actually want to see? So if we go back here, maybe we can we'll use this area for our dashboard. So this whole area for our dashboard. Cool. So what we maybe first want to do is maybe say, okay, we want to have a look at when someone lands to the dashboard, they must be able to see like a big total sales number. So we will say sales. Then over here, in terms of our automation, we can say, okay, what's our sales? From here, we can say total sales. Say equal to your visualization. You can use any one, so we'll use this one, the total sales. So here we can then format our total sales and make it, okay, those are total sales. And what else do we want to see? Maybe the key things like how much units, yeah, so total units. Like when at the top, you know, kind of like top execs in the unit, when they open the dashboard, they can see these matrix. Then we also go to units. And we can change so that we can see thousands. And then here we can also say profit percentage. Because this will actually be for the year 2020, because it's the year 2022. And profit percentage, so that the shareholders can also know. We'll go to, okay, let's see, let's do it this way. Instead of having the contribution, because now it's currently showing at 100%, let's rather have the profit from total sales. So profit from total sales, and let's just see, that's the raw profit. We would probably have to calculate this one. Let's just see, column total. Now it'll always give us that one, definitely. Okay, we might need to quickly calculate this one, which we will then add to our, it's just the total profit. It's not necessarily, okay, so what we would need to do here, let's recreate the totals here. Let's do this. Let's remove the grand total and say total. And then we can say auto sum. Okay, those are the total sales. Total. What we want to do here, we don't want to. What is here? We had said average. So it's always trial and error. So let's just quickly calculate this profit quickly. We say this equals okay, 20%. Okay, so which means we do also need cost here, guys. So it's trial and error. Let's do this. In order for us to get our profit. Cool. So now let's actually take our profit out. Just remove that. What we're gonna do, we're gonna say, I'll show you there's another way to automate, but not sure if I don't want to complicate this over, so let's rather calculate the cost. So I'm going to say cost over sales or profit. So now let's just format this. It's not part of the pivot, but it will calculate together with our pivot. Got everything. And let's open this up. We might also need our, and this must show as number. And our cost, let's change our cost. To show as a currency. Cool, so 20% profit. Let's look at our dashboard and we can say equals 20%. Okay. And then we just do the same here as well. We just add, we take our profit, we add cost. just quickly do that. What we also want to do here is to remove the grand total, and let's do the same. Let's change the units to show as 1000 separator. So that this doesn't jump around. Let's also change the cost here. Just have to follow, guys. Let's make sure everything is consistent. Right click, show fields. Go to your unit. You want to change that to show the 1000 separator. You also want to lock this. Right click on this. Pivot options. Untick auto fit columns with update because it jumps around. Okay, cool. So now we've got our main matrix here. Okay, cool. We've got our units, we've got our cells. Yeah. So now one thing that we also maybe wanna have a look at, so in terms of doing the automated dashboard, is you want to see if you can click something, will something change. So there's a function called slices here which we can use to actually help us with this automation. So what you want to do, you want to click onto your pivot table, and you want to go to pivot analyze. The insert slicer. So we're going to have a slicer which will actually, if you look at a slicer that will have variation. At the moment it's only month that has a variation. So this is what we want to do. We want to click on OK. So we've got the slicer now, which says month. If you click on the slicer, currently you see the slicer works with this pivot table and actually then brings up the results. Just want to have a look here. It's actually going to be pulling from there. Say August. It does also change. So if you have a look, if you click at different months, the pivot actually changes. And so it's only this pivot that changes, and not this one. So you wanna untick that, and then what you wanna do, you wanna cut this and bring it to the dashboard page. Paste it here. These are the building blocks of the dashboard itself. So now we can think about design. Do this. So let's just test it quickly. If we click on January, look at these numbers change. February, so profit seems to be consistent at 20, but all the other numbers are changing. As you can see, all the other numbers are changing. What if we wanted to, let's say if the profit had to change maybe in the raw data, which is fine. So in this instance, what you would do, let's say you had to overhaul your raw data, you'd actually go to the, as you can see here, these are the profit numbers. If you had to update your profit, it has to be different in terms of overall. Maybe let's say for a few regions here, you want to decrease the profit. Let's say we go over times. You don't necessarily have to do this, but it's just a step. say our profit currently is not dynamic, so if we could say sales minus this, okay, now it's dynamic, so all the profits. So what we can do, we can click to the end, so our profit is dynamic. So if we can just change any element of the cost just to, you know, increase it a bit. So let's just say equals this percent increase. 50%. We had to increase the cost by 50% across our data. This would be, and then let's say equals this. Okay, maybe not everywhere. Let's maybe choose certain ones. Say this. Equals that. Then we'll change for some. Paste that there. For some we just leave the same. Let's increase others by 80%. Just so that you have a mix. Then others by 10%. Okay, cool. So now we have our mix of profits. So hopefully when we press our months, we will see. So what we want to do now, we just want to come here to our visualizations and our pivots. If you right click, you press refresh. It's going to refresh our profits. You can see now we have like a variation. You can also come here and say refresh. So here, see the months one, seems like there is a variation, but total it's let's see this 20%. Dashboard. If we click on January, 25%, May 30, July 31. Okay, now our profit number is changing. If you have a look at the profit number, this is our unit number, our sales number. As you can see, as you press, these are now changing. each number. Cool. And now we can think about the design. So we start. So you can also have like a bit of designs with this slicer. Just follow. Already designing. Remember, we're doing a dashboard for this brand, so we would wanna customize accordingly. Thing we would want to have is, a trend. So we want to see maybe throughout the year what each of each of these perform. So here, because we have total, so now what we want to do, so this will change based on the month that's clicked, but we also want to see a trend of, how is it trending throughout the month. So total sales, units, and profit. And now this is where we would then use the second pivot, and this one will just dynamically change based on the slicer that you press. So for now we want to come to this one, either right click or just press on it and say pivot analyze. We want to go to pivot chart. Here we would then press this chart and say OK, and we can right click, cut, and paste it here. Okay, so from here we can decide how we want to have a look at our different elements. instead of using, so let's see if we can create our own, let's say chart, insert chart, recommended chart, does this pivot. For this view, we don't really need it to automate it, so we can actually, because over here we have profit, which is not part of the pivot, so we can maybe just create our own for this, the chart data. We always just have to be creative rather than have a way out of things. What we want to do is we're gonna equals that, so we just taking the data and putting it here so that we can create our own chart without having limitations of the pivot table. And what we can do, we can just format our data. Cool. And this will always dynamically change based off, even if you change your data, because now we're referencing from this table. So even if you have it update, it will always stay automated. But we're just using it for our chart. So let's create a chart. See, yep, what we want to use. Cut. Chart over here. Okay, now the design can go wild. Have a look at data labels. Let's go over here. If you right click, just wanna change the formatting of data labels for units to summarize it a bit more. Let's not have all of them. Let's just have sales and profit, because we can always just investigate the data. So let's only have sales and profit, because it becomes too busy. Or let's take out, sales and this.